I'm in Northamptonshire on my Royal Enfield Classic 500, heading to Fotheringhay, once one of the most important places in England, where a king was born and a queen beheaded. On the way I passed through the village of Aldwinkle, with one of its two churches coming up on the left. I passed through Stoke Doyle. You can just see its 18th century church on the right. I rode through the lovely stone-built town of Oundle. Just pausing to check the map and the route. Back on country lanes, I sought out the turning for Fotheringhay. And there's the sign to it up ahead. Turn right. As the home of the Dukes of York and the Yorkist kings, Fotheringhay was once one of the most important places in England. Richard III was born at Fotheringhay Castle in 1452. He was the last Plantagenet king. The death of Richard III at Bosworth Field and the victory of Henry Tudor altered Fotheringhay's history irrevocably. From a royal administrative centre of national importance, it was reduced to a village with little impact beyond its parish boundary. Fotheringhay Castle is also where Mary, Queen of Scots, was tried and beheaded in 1587, and her body lay there for some months before its burial at Peterborough Cathedral, and then its final burial in Westminster Abbey. It is often said that James I destroyed the castle because his mother was killed there. And we're here. There's the sign to Fotheringhay. Good houses and cottages of limestone, for still we are on the Jurassic limestone belt that runs up from the Cotswold Hills. These buildings flank Fotheringhay's one street, which is extraordinarily wide as befits a place of historic consequence. And there's Fotheringhay's pleasant little inn, just on the right there. I'll park up there, just by the gates of Fotheringhay's famous church. I'll take a walk over to the castle. Founded around 1100 to control an important river crossing, only the earthworks and the conical motte remain of Fotheringhay Castle, standing on level ground above the peaceful River Nen. Yet there is such history here. Richard III born here, Mary Queen of Scots executed here. It is a fair scene that surrounds the site of the vanished castle, with the splendid River Nen winding through the peaceful meadows at the foot of the mound. Often must Mary Stuart have looked out upon it from her prison window. Today, Scotch thistles grow in the grounds where they were planted by that tragic queen. I'm told they thrive amazingly, reaching 8 feet high and more, with stalks 6 inches round and supporting scores of blooms, as if in memory of her death. lantern tower of Fotheringhay Church in the distance. It is regrettable, but somehow right, that time should have swept the castle away. Meditation here would only be clouded by distraction if the banqueting hall still existed, noisy with the visitor experience. No, far better for Fotheringhay Castle to be in these latter days a place of quiet, a place of slow flowing waters and flowering thorns and thistles, the haunt of cuckoos and warblers. It is easier this way, amid the solitude, for the mind to bridge those hundreds of years and to find the meaning of what it sees. And there below is the last piece of masonry from the once huge castle. The reign of the Yorkist king, Edward IV, brother to the later Richard III, was relatively peaceful, and he was able to restore some limited stability to the realm. Fotheringhay was always important to him, and he lavished money on the castle and in extending accommodation in the village for guests by building this so-called new inn just outside the castle walls. This new inn bears the heraldic arms of the House of York around the wide entrance gate. Back to the bike now, and a look at this magnificent church. The approach is down this avenue of trees. There is the lantern tower, claimed as one of the two finest in England. But isn't there something wrong? After you have caught your breath at the view of the lofty nave with its flying buttresses, leading the eye up to the tower and the elegant eight-sided lantern, you begin to realise that the church as a whole looks unbalanced, out of proportion, even mutilated. Indeed it is. What stands today is only half of the enormous collegiate church of the Blessed Virgin and All Saints. You can see at this east end the truncated nature of the church. At the time of the Reformation, it was literally chopped in half and the gap filled in again with a near blank stone wall. Just the other side of that wall is the altar. There's no chancel. The half that was demolished included the choir, and with it went the buildings and cloisters of the college, founded by Edmund Plantagenet, fifth son of Edward III. This was once a building of cathedral-like proportions. Nevertheless, it remains one of the finest structures in Northamptonshire, indeed the country as a whole. What a gem it must have been originally. And one of the best places to view the church is from the 18th century bridge across the River Nen. Let's ride over and take a look. The bridge we're going to see replaced an earlier bridge built by order of Elizabeth I, using stone from the collegiate choir of the church we've just seen. This is the approach to the bridge. This is the best place to fully appreciate the church and its setting. There's nearly always an artist here, painting the scene. And so, back to the bike, and one final look at that glorious lantern tower. For now, I'm done.